Because everything's better in IMAX.
isn't that like the logo?
Yeah.
Wow, well done.
Yeah.
Miss Pugh, I gotta tell you, this movie, incredible. You're incredible in
Thank
it.
you.
Like, dude, the stunts, I'm not even gonna get into that right now, but my God. But I gotta start with, we are IMAX. So since this film is filmed for IMAX, why should fans experience the Thunderbolts in IMAX?
Oh my God, I mean, I could just talk about IMAX full stop without even associating it with this movie. But yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you want to go and experience a massive cinematic movie in an even bigger version? Why not?
Because everything's better in IMAX.
Isn't that like the logo?
Yeah.
Wow, well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big rip-roaring action movie. You got blowing up New York City, helicopters crashing into that beautiful buildings in Times Square.
Let me tell you something. I saw the movie done for the first time on IMAX. It was worth it. Mm-hmm. It is so huge, so dynamic, so it just takes you to another universe, Marvel universe, of course, but it really, really elevates the film-going experience.
I mean, seeing the sheer size of the whole experience. I mean, like you said, it's an experience, IMAX. It's not, just a visual. It's like you feel that you are there and transported into the MCU with us. And yeah, it's special, very special seeing the fans.
Yeah, I feel like, don't you think like Jake shot this in such a way that yes, all of the action is so magnificent and incredibly massive, but then also all of these smaller moments he shot in this very fly-on-the-wall way, so that when you see it in IMAX with your entire peripheries taken up, you really feel like you're right there.
So we have a full 39 minutes of expanded 1.9 aspect ratio IMAX content in the film, and it was always something that we talked about from the beginning about how do we kind of blend that with a movie that gives people that watch it in IMAX the absolute best experience, where it's expanding, but it's also not altering the kind of like optical consistency of the movie. So we did a new process that has not been done before. We're the first Marvel movie ever finished entirely in 4K. We very carefully chose which sequences were going to be in IMAX, but it meant we didn't have to swap out our camera system and our lensing for when we do that. So when you watch the movie, it just feels like such a natural expansion of the world that you're really keeping the kind of visual voice of the movie consistent.
I want to expand a little bit on, ironically, the expanded aspect ratios. And what sequences in particular were you really excited to kind of open up into that 190?
Yeah, I mean, well, the first sequence for one, when you have Florence Pugh stepping off of the second tallest building in the world. And one thing that's kind of tricky about a sequence like that is that building is so tall and so much taller than almost anything around it. It is really hard to get a sense of scale without looking back towards the city. And even then, the city is sort of lower in the background and dwarfed. And so getting into that full scope, where it is this heart drop moment of watching that base jump happen, it hits so much harder in IMAX. It's so fun to watch. So you've got that. You've got our ending sequence where it's our kind of classic. We aspire to that full Marvel level of scope, but in this new way, where being in New York and all the levels of the sequence and being up and down, there's just so much more impact to that when you're going into that wider thing. Like me, the first time I watched it at IMAX headquarters, where you pull out and it goes into that, it's like, your heart drops.
Your movie, it's so intricately detailed, but I felt like there were so many points where it was like a callback almost to different films in history. Like the Bucky motorcycle scene gave me very much shades of one of my favorite movies of all time, Terminator 2. I felt like some of the dream sequence when you're going into different areas, different rooms, felt to me kind of Inception based. Like, I'm curious.
There's Inception in there. There's being John Malkovich for sure.
Being
like,
John
Gondry,
Malkovich.
like there's stuff like that.
And that was one of the things I really wanted to ask you, and I've been so excited all day too, is what films did you kind of draw on for inspiration when you were planning this film?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, anyone making a blockbuster action movie that is attempting to do things practically and prioritizing that, like you got to give credit to Nolan for how much effort he's put into that and how much that grounds the films. And this idea that even if something could be a little bit bigger, if you use CG, the very fact that you actually did it will give it more of an impact to an audience. And that was something that we really tried to put at the forefront of this. But yeah, we're not on that scale maybe, but Mission Impossible 4, like in the way they really like had such a concept to every single one of those action sequences. And then, going inward and internal in this idea that surrealism can be expressed without using visual effects. And, you know, Grace Yoon, our wonderful production designer, could build these sets, and you could do these practical transitions in between them. That's something we really lifted a lot from Spike's work and Michelle's work, and then tried to bring a bigger sense of Marvel scale to it, but on that level it still felt handmade.
I'm a big road trip guy. I love road trips. And there's a part in the movie with the long cross-country road trip that y'all do. And that got me to thinking, who would be the least likely person you would want to be stuck with from the Thunderbolts characters in a long cross-country road trip, mano a mano?
Her dad, Alexei. Like, you know what's fun? When we were shooting that, it's so funny because David is just so brilliant at ad-libbing, but every single time I was rolling my eyes, we were just like becoming father-daughter. It was like, oh my God, just shut up, this is so embarrassing. I think for the same, I mean, it would be equally joyful to be in a long car journey with Alexei and painful.
I mean, it's got to be Red Guardian. Like, he just is so annoying. He just talks so much. He pees in cups. He sweats. He's just like, you know, he'd just be so much. I mean, you have like fun for a while. You have like a nice, 7 minutes.
Totally.
And then the rest of the 28-hour trip would be just pure hell.
That's funny.
It's the same. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely.
I mean, David really proves himself as despite his avenues that he goes through, he's pretty darn good spearheader. I mean, yes, there's some of them are unsafe, but he's got longevity on his side. You can really do a long trip in a short amount of time with how much he's peeing in the cups and he's drinking the energy drink.
You could do a long trip and you could do a short trip.
Yeah.
It depends on your mood. I think you'd be like, okay, you're kind of you're entertaining. This is fun. Yeah.
So Red Guardian for a short trip, but not for a long trip.
Yeah.
Red Guardian.
Yeah.
That's a lot of talking.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's nice to have quiet.
Yes. I wouldn't trust him with my life.
Yeah, right. Then
him
there's a driving issue itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm starting to see like a consistent through line here. I think everyone's saying Red Guardian, including
Of course.
David. So, I think we're starting to see that come across really clearly. I gotta ask, the chemistry, your guys' chemistry on screen really came across, but like overall the chemistry in the movie of the cast, like it was just so good for an audience. Sitting in the audience, it was something that was awesome to watch. I have to ask, are there any great behind-the-scenes stories of you all working together on set that you're going to remember and take with you?
Well, this one here and I had a good time sitting next to each other, sharing puppy videos.
Yes.
I know, it doesn't sound very Marvel Universe-y, but we got along like a house of fire, as they say, and it was really... we had a gas. I mean, that's not really a funny story or anything, but it's true. Just hanging out.
I gave her a Best Boss award when we wrapped.
Yeah, she sure did.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. Also, I love puppy videos. That's like
the
best
they're
thing
the
you
best.
can
It just
probably
makes your
watch.
day.
If you could experience any movie in IMAX again or for the first time, as a fan, like you just got the theater, it's all yours. You're queuing up whatever movie you want to watch. What would you want to experience and why?
Again?
Or for the first time? If it's
I would want to experience Dunkirk again on IMAX.
That's a banger.
It was actually my first ever IMAX, and I have not forgotten that experience. It was just, I just also remember experiencing because the score, I don't know what the term is, but where it constantly keeps on rising, and I remember that just with that screen that wrapped around me, and I just had this horrible sense of anxiety for too long, but it was just so amazing to be fully in that world, and I would want to experience that again.
Go like Indiana Jones.
Indiana
Raiders of the
Jones,
Lost Ark.
Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid for me.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, and I'm not just being biased here, but Ready Player One at IMAX was, I think, an experience, because I didn't get to see it again at the IMAX after the premieres, but when you are in the Oasis in that first car chase scene with like, you've got, King Kong, and you're like, and you're just in it. Like I remember that was the experience for me, that movie. It was such, it's an IMAX movie. So yeah, I'd watch that one.
That's a good one. I would watch that too. If we're going with our own filmography, I would have to go with Top Gun because I would love to see it for the first time as if I wasn't in it, because I got so many amazing reactions from people who saw it in IMAX, and they were like, I really felt like I was in the plane. And obviously for me as an actor who was really in the plane, I was like, you have no idea what it was like to be really in the plane. But I really want, so I want to feel like, I want to see what that felt like, to really like be in the cockpit without having had the experiences to kind of like blend in with my own experience.
Marvel Studios Thunderbolts.